Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Sustainable Farming. Today we'll be discussing communication in agriculture, and to talk more about this topic I'll be speaking with Kanyinsola Abajesude, who is a graduate student in Antalya. Hello Kanyinsola.
Hello, Messi.
Hello, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So we'll be talking about communication in agriculture today. I want us to start with this specific question. So what role do you think communication plays in improving agricultural practices, especially in rural areas in Nigeria?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. First of all, I'm going to like to talk about what is communication, especially. Communication is a transfer of knowledge, basically, when you're trying to transfer knowledge from one person to another. So, in so doing, you are trying to communicate practices, actions, and so on. So now, when we say communication, communication is like a major backbone in agricultural development. So without communication, agricultural can be developed, like agriculture can be developed, which is why there are agricultural extensionists who are like communicators who serve like a middleman between the research agents and the farmers. So now when we're talking about rural farmers, the main purpose of communication and how communication impacts agricultural development in rural areas. One of them is transfer of knowledge. Like I said, communication is basically transfer of knowledge, and which is one of the impact. It helps to transfer knowledge. For example, when farmers like their practices that they learned on their own, but for the meantime they are not so like the sustainable kind of, or they are not something that can bring the productivity that we really want, because the population is increasing. We need more productivity, which is why we need communication. We need to communicate new practices, effective practices that can boost production and give that can boost production and also serve for food security. Another purpose impact of communication for agricultural development in rural areas is it helps to connect farmers with market. One of the major issues of rural farmers is that they produce, but they don't have connections with the customer, like big customers. Therefore, middlemen come in and they take all the gains that farmers are supposed to take, which end up affecting farmers' production because they don't have enough resources to produce again. Which is why communication helps to connect farmers with markets, in the sense that it provides them with timely communication, and also like to know that, okay, you have to produce now, this is what is really needed in the market, and so on. So that is one of the importance and impact of agricultural communication to rural farmers. Another one is it supports disaster management. Like we all know now that climate change is on the roll, like it's really affecting. So therefore we need um, timely and real-time information, which um, which communication provides to farmers, rural farmers. It helps to give them timely communication, timely information, and also to support them in disaster management. So they will know how to avoid risks and what to do, what to produce, so as to avoid much disaster that can be avoided. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much to Kanisola. I'm glad that you actually mentioned some of the problems that farmers face. And since we are talking specifically about Nigerian agriculture, I want to ask you, what are the most significant barriers to effective communications in the Nigerian agriculture sector?
Okay, thank you. So, one of the top barriers for one of the top barriers to effective communication in Nigeria, one of it is illiteracy. According to study, about 70% of Nigerian agricultural producers are smallholders or rural farmers whose educational level are between secondary school to maybe vocational school, like, but not most of them don't go to the university, which makes it like obvious that there are a level of illiteracy. The level of illiteracy among smallholder farmers is a bit high, which is one of the reasons why farmers struggle to interpret communication materials. For example, we know that communication does not just mean maybe talking. We have different form media of communication like written materials, posters, handbills, a lot of them. So because of the illiteracy level among the rural farmers or smallholder farmers, it makes it difficult for them to interpret some form of communication that could be beneficial to them. For example, written materials. Because, and it might not even be because they are illiterate, it might just be like maybe the materials are not written in a language they understand. So illiteracy not just not be like going to school. So if the materials are not written in the language they understood, it will be difficult for them to process and to make use of that information. So, which is why illiteracy is one of the major barriers. Another barrier is poor network infrastructure. For example, if we are trying to maybe connect real-time information to farmers and there is no network in their vicinity, it's going to be difficult. Or before they get the information, the deed would have been done. Maybe they are trying to communicate to them that okay, there will be a adverse wind next week or next month, or something like maybe they are trying to communicate an important information concerning their farming activities, but they couldn't get it in real time. It's definitely used to affect them. So there are limited mobile and internet coverage in rural areas in Nigeria, which therefore affect communication, which and also imbibes and also hinders agricultural development. Another reason is also mistrust of information. You know, when you tell farmers one thing and it didn't happen, next time they won't believe you. So, which is one of the reasons why it's farmers don't like, because they've told them some false information, they tend to mistrust information, or they tend to not believe further future information. So these are some of the major barriers that affect communication, effective communication in Nigeria agriculture.
All right, Kanyinsola, thank you for that. You mentioned three major points, and what I picked there for was illiteracy first of all, and then
Yeah.
a break in communication. You know, not being able to communicate very well to the farmers. I think this will lead
Yeah.
us to the next question. So, how can technology help bridge this communication gap that we just mentioned, especially in agriculture?
Especially in agriculture and especially in Nigeria. Okay, thank you. So one of the ways technology can help. Technology is like the go-to way for agricultural development. So as we can meet the growing needs of the growing population, we need more productivity, and which is why technology comes in. So one of the major ways we can use technology is by building mobile apps. Like a lot of farmers now have a phone that can access technology, that can access information. So they might not have the laptop, but they have their mobile phone, which is a good one. So we can build mobile apps, like we can build mobile apps that can help provide step-to-step guides for farmers on their farming techniques. And for example, in Ghana, they have a platform called Esoko, which provides SMS to farmers. That is not like a major, it's something that can easily be transmitted on, like maybe they have to turn on their internet. If as soon So long as they have a phone and they have a SIM card, they would easily get the SMS. So this is like a good this is like a good way of communicating to farmers through technology. Another one is community radios. For example, if they have a community radio, it's going to be it wouldn't be addressed to one person. It will be addressed to like a lot of them a lot of farmers in the community, and it's going to help them to have access to information. So that community radio will be placed in a city center, and it's going to be solar powered. So that is how technology comes in. It won't just be a radio that maybe if they don't have electricity, they won't be able to access it. It's going to be solar powered. So it's going to broadcast farming tips and weather conditions that can help them in those remote areas. That is how technology can help. Another way is digital farmer network. If they have a farming network, there are a lot of research that shows that farmers being in a that community of farmers helps them to improve on their practices. So if they now have it digitalized, like maybe they have a Telegram group or they have like a WhatsApp group, which is like a big platform to connect a lot of people around the world, is going to help them to have access to what is happening in another country and to have relatable information. That it won't just be like, okay, they are all alone by themselves. It's going to help them to connect with other farmers in other countries and to also maybe market themselves and learn from each other. It's going to help them. For example, now in Oyo State, there is a WhatsApp group that is managed by the Oyo Extension workers. Is helping, and which is really helping them to solve their pest issues in real time. So that those are ways that technology can help bridge communication gap in Nigerian agriculture. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so Kanyinsola, how does misinformation affect the productivity of farmers in Nigeria, since we're still talking about Nigeria? And what steps can be taken to, mitigate these issues?
Okay. For example, one of the issues that misinformation could lead to is poor yields. For example, when farmers are being misinformed, for example, maybe I'm a farmer, like maybe I misinformed the farmer that, okay, this is what you should use, this is the amount of fertilizer you should use, and the farmer used it and it's brought poor yield, the farmer is not going to trust me again. So the solution for this is that we should we should have a good extension system that can that can train farmers in in an informed way, so that they can make informed decision. And also there should be like a database for some of the practices, that so that next time those data can be analyzed and they will be able to make data driven decision on their farming activities. Also, another disadvantage of misinformation is panic selling. For example, if a farmer is being misinformed about a market product and they tend to sell their product, then they run into loss and they don't have money to produce again. This is going to affect them. So this is how technology comes in, when they have real-time information and true information, and also when they are able to connect with other farmers, they are able to verify whatever information that is being communicated to them. So it will help to avoid these issues. So the solution is also by introducing certified communication channels that can help, like government backed extension agent, private organization that are certified by the government to produce real information. Those are the ones that should have access to the farmers, and it's going to help them to have true and real information to avoid losses or mistrust from further mistrust. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, I'm glad that you actually mentioned, the role of the government and, experts in agriculture and how they are directly related to farmers. Now, we talked about this misinformation. What do you think are the reasons, rather, let me put it this way. Why do you think there's still a miscommunication or a communication gap between farmers and agricultural experts and government agencies?
Okay, one of the reasons why we still have a lot of communication gap, like I said, is because they are limited and some untrained agricultural extension officers. They are limited because if there are a lot of agricultural officers, it's going to, like, they will be deployed to various stations so that they can help farmers and help them fulfill what they have to do, but they are limited. So which is why we need a lot more of agricultural extension officers, because Nigerian ratio of extension officers to farmers is very low, which is why a lot of farmers are without professional guidance. So, like, you can't just expect a farmer to know how to use a mobile app or some new technologies that are coming up without having someone to teach them. So, and when those that are supposed to teach them are limited, it's going to affect them. It's going to affect the productivity. Another reason why is farmers themselves, they lack trust in extension officers because they feel like, okay, maybe if what who is this person, maybe some of those farmers, they are of age, they are older, and if someone, like, they feel, maybe if they see someone that is younger than them, they'll be like, no, what does this person know? So it's going to affect how they accept or receive the information. So lack of trust from the farmers also affects this communication. Also is one of the reasons why there are still communication gap. So the solution is we should partner with NGOs and also make use of their local leaders, which is why local leaders are very important in agricultural extension and communication to farmers. Local leaders are gems in extending practices to farmers.
So,
Another one is,
Kanyinsola, sorry to cut you there. You just
okay,
mentioned one of the questions going to ask you, which is actually the final question. So, you talked
okay,
about, NGOs coming in. I know
yeah,
you still have more to talk about on the other topic, but I would just
no
like
problem.
to ask you this. So, NGOs and international organizations like Afro Agro, which is the channel we are talking on
Yeah.
right now, what role do you think they play in addressing these communication challenges, especially in Nigeria?
Yeah, this is one of the reasons why we are doing this, to extend communication, to promote communication, to build communication gap. NGOs and organizations like Afrotuk TV, like AgroTuk TV, is they help to build communication infrastructure. Like this channel now is mainly dedicated to agricultural farmers, African agricultural farmers, which is a very commendable thing to do, because this helps to provide and expand communication to rural areas, because when they see this, they are more informed and they make informed decisions. So it is like this that we are able to improve their practices. Also, it helps to facilitate farmer training.
For example, I know that some of the programs that is being done on Agro to TV is how to teach farmers on how to use sustainable technologies that are coming up. Like I saw on drone, how they can use drone that I saw previously. So these are ways like NGOs like Agro to TV can help to build communication gap, and also like they help to set up digital platforms and also distribute accessible technologies. Like if the Agro to TV helps you in them communicating to farmers, they are distributing those technologies and make it accessible to farmers. So this is really a commendable thing to do. And these are some of the roles of NGOs and international organizations in extending communication to Nigerian agricultural farmers. Thank
All right,
you.
there, Kanyinsola, thank you very much. We've come to the end of this episode, and I just want to say a very big thank you for granting us your time and your knowledge today.
Thank you too.
You're welcome. And with that, we have come to the end of today's episode on sustainable farming. If you would like to send us questions or suggestions, you can do so on our WhatsApp number, which is always on the screen. And I'll see you in the next one. Till then, stay safe and goodbye.